Hello everyone, this is Yvonne from Yvonne Ceramics. Welcome to day 18 of my ceramic residency here in Arita, Japan. I started the day with more Gosu underglaze painting. One of the pieces I worked on was a fan-shaped plate that I slip cast myself. For this plate, I sketched 3 of my favorite flowers in pencil: Lily of the Valley, Peony, and Cherry Blossom. Each flower carries its own meaning. Lily of the Valley symbolizes purity and the return of happiness. The Peony represents prosperity and romance, and the cherry blossom reminds me of the beautiful things in life. Bringing them together on the plate felt very personal, like weaving a story of joy, hope, and transience into the design. I began with a fine line brush dipped in dark Gosu blue underglaze to trace the outlines. Then I switched to a big fat brush with a large reservoir to fill in the petals and leaves. I love how the diluted Gosu paint floats across the porcelain surface. It feels almost like watercolor, but every stroke leaves a permanent mark after firing. After filling in the flowers, I used a sharp pointy tool to carefully scratch away some of the blue pigment. This step adds texture and little details to the flowers, almost like carving delicate veins into the petals. It gives the design more depth and makes each flower feel alive. I'm working on a bisque plate, so I can use medium pressure to scratch on the surface without worrying about breaking the plate. Here's the plate after glaze firing. Once the plate was finished, I moved on to painting some small animal figurines. These are always fun to work on because they let me experiment with different patterns on a smaller scale. I used blue Gosu paint to do the outlines and then use a green underglaze to fill in the leaves. I drew inspiration from the flora and environment around me. The piece that I was working on was a bisque dog figurine, which I decorated with a playful blueberry pattern. Using different shades of blue underglaze, I layered light and dark tones to capture the roundness and depth of the berries. The contrast between the delicate underline and the fuller wash of the color make the pattern pop, especially with the pure white porcelain background. It gives the little dog a charming and whimsical look. Later, the kiln's intern joined me and we headed to the factory for glazing. I dipped my paint pieces into clear glaze, watching the liquid glaze cover the surface. To finish, I used my favorite tool in the factory, which is a special sponge machine that wipes away the glaze from the bottom of the plate. So this sponge is coated with water, so it's a wet sponge that can just wipe away the bottom glaze. This step is so important because it keeps the glaze from fusing to the kiln shelf during firing. And that wrapped up my day 18 of my residency. See you guys in the next video. Bye bye.